Hi folks, this is Tim Sundles. We're filming from Africa on Kim's iPhone. I want to talk to you more about the 45ACP for use on bears. That seems to be the big thing in America, and with some validity, it is a big thing. So I want to talk to you about the 45ACP+P or the 45 Super or the 460 Roland for use on large bears or small bears. A small one can kill you just as fast as a large one, versus the 10 millimeter. So starting out on this topic, let's assume proper ammunition for both. Let's assume the heaviest possible hard cast bullets that you can use in both, and they're properly hard cast. Let's just assume that to keep all things equal. I have shot our 45, the item number is 45-255. It's a 45 ACP+P with a 255 grain flat nosed hard cast bullet. I've shot it right through both shoulders on a black bear, right through the shoulder bones. It penetrates plenty deep. Will our 220 grain hard cast 10mm out penetrate it? It will. If you're into killing trees behind the bear, stick with the 10mm. If you want enough penetration but a 5 caliber bigger hole, go with the 45. There's other benefits to the 45 as well. And if you want to see another time that I talk about this, go to our live videos. The oldest one, we filmed it from Africa before we had good Wi-Fi here, so it gets garbled. Stick with it, and there'll be more information in it. Now, the 45 ACP being short and fat, there are some advantages to short and fat. Most people don't think there are, but there are. Short and fat means it cycles very reliably. The 10mm is longer and thinner. The 10mm is, it's not really that much of an issue because a tuned 10mm is very reliable. But an untuned 45 is pretty reliable. And if you want to really have ultra reliability, go with the 45. Now, our 45 ACP+P load that I told you I've shot through both shoulders on a bear. If you shoot it from a 5-inch 1911, and all barrel internals from different manufacturing eras are all different, but you should get around 1950 feet a second, or excuse me, 950 feet a second. We advertise it at 925 feet a second. And I've seen some guns that run it as fast as 975 feet a second with 5-inch barrels. The 45 Super was introduced by Ace Hindman 35 years ago, and I had him build 2 45s for me. So I still have them. I still use them. The 45 Super is simply a 45 ACP case with more powder in it. And we make that same 255 grain bullet. We load it in 45 Super. I think it's running 1,050 feet a second. I want to say, I'm in Africa. I don't have any of my paperwork or bookwork here. Thank goodness. I'm trying to get a break from all that. The 45 Super, and I don't know who's building them now. Ace Hindman died long ago. His son Gary was doing it for a while, doing 45 Super conversions. A lot of people just buy 45 Super ammo and shoot it in their stock 45 ACP, which is not advisable. I've never heard of anybody blowing up a gun, because you won't do that probably, but you can batter the gun and wear it out rather quickly. It needs to have a few modifications done to it. Don't ask me, I'm not a gunsmith. I have professionals do mine. I'm an expert on ammunition and bullets. When it comes to gunsmithing, I am not. But if somebody out there isn't busy doing 45 super conversions on Glocks and Springfields and, any kind of 1911, any of the modern pistols, you're missing out. There's a huge market for them. And it makes, I can't say it makes a huge difference getting another 125 feet a second more than you get with the 45ACP+P. But when you're in a charge or in an attack situation, mo is better. It just is. More is a good thing. Now, the 460 Roland is a 45 ACP case that is lengthened by, I think, 100,000ths of an inch. We also make ammo for it. And I have two 1911 conversions that were actually done by Johnny Roland before I think Johnny passed on long ago. If he didn't, he's been out of business for a long time. I have another one that was done for my wife, and it was done on a Springfield XD with a custom barrel put in so that, you can shoot suppressed if you want. That runs the 255 grain hard cast bullet, I believe, at a tad over 1125, 1150 feet per second. And it's truly a Magnum 45 housed in a packable, carryable, lightweight gun. If you get one of the polymer framed guns, it's super lightweight. Those are also options. Now, again, I'm going to say, like I said in the last video we did on the 10mm versus the 45, I am not knocking the 10mm. It's our number one seller in the company. Our 220 grain is the number one seller. Our next biggest seller is the 190 grain mono metal dangerous game load. And our next best seller after that is also a 10mm, but it uses an expanding bullet. I'm not knocking the 10mm. Most of the Alaska State Troopers carry them in their Glock Model 20s. They've killed numerous moose, numerous grizzlies with the 10mm, so it works. I'm just saying there are things that work better in the same size pistol that are more reliable, and you give up nothing and gain a lot. Anytime you can make a hole through a charging animal that is 5 calibers bigger, the 10mm is 40 caliber, the 45 is .451 caliber. A caliber is 1/100th of an inch. I had somebody try to school me on that the other day, like, duh? Really? I've been making millions of rounds of ammo for a year and I don't know what a caliber is? So 5 calibers bigger is huge. There is a slight velocity advantage to the 10mm over the 45+P and the 45 Super. But at these velocity levels, unless I'm going to hunt and I want flat shooting at distance, the 10mm offers nothing more. And you'll say, well, it offers more energy. We're going to do a video on the way the mathematic formula for energy and show you why it's so faulty when it comes to killing big game. It's totally faulty. There are better formulas, and frankly, there is no perfect mathematic or paper formula. There isn't. But you guys that are caught up in it has more energy, it might apply to thin-skinned, lightweight people that, fall down and die if they get shot in the chest. Doesn't apply to bears, especially bigger bears, at all. It's not about energy. It's about something else completely different. We'll do a video on it so I can maybe demonstrate. We'll probably do it back in Idaho. So I can have my guns in front of me and use them to demonstrate. Anyway, I put a bit of new information in this video about the 45ACP versus the 10mm, and I'll repeat one short story about penetration. 100 years ago, there was he's now famous poacher in Africa. His name was John Taylor, John Pandoro Taylor. Pandoro means lion, I think, in Swahili or one of those languages up in northern Africa. He, for a time, he killed close to 1,000 elephants. He was an ivory hunter. And he used a 600 nitro for a good period of time. And he claimed if he missed the elephant's brain because it was running, that the 600 nitro would knock the elephant out for like a half an hour. Well, everybody found fault with him by saying the 600 doesn't penetrate enough. Use a 577 nitro. And he, in his book, admits, true enough, the 600 doesn't penetrate as much as the 577 nitro. But just how much penetration do you need to go through an elephant's brain? And he tested the 600 nitro, and he was using one of the light loads with the 900 grain bullet, and he said 27 inches. And his comment was, how much more do you need? Because that's enough to go all the way, through the skull plate, through the brain. And how much more do you need? And that's the issue of the 10 mm penetration with the 220 grain hard cast versus the 45 penetration with the 255 grain hard cast. The 45 makes a bigger hole and it gives you all the penetration you need. If you want more penetration for some unknown, unneeded reason to stop a grizzly attack, use the 10 mm. The 45 is better. It's a more reliable cycler, makes a bigger hole. Anyway, folks, appreciate your time, and I hope this is of some benefit to you. And may God bless, and we'll see you on the next video.